Hello and welcome back to another Unreal Engine 4 and 5 tutorial. In this video I will teach you how to pick up and carry an object like this. Or you can carry all three like this. Or you can come from a distance and use it like a magneto spell. Or you can have fun like this. Boing, boing. Or you can just throw them around like this. Okay, let's get started. Open your first person character, find an empty space. Let's right click and type keyboard and select any key you want. In the top right corner, let's put something like G for graph. So when you press G, something will happen. Now let's create a line trace. Get the first person camera. And from here we need to get world location. And from here as well, get world rotation. Now from this, type line trace by channel. So this is going to be the start trace. And for the end trace, from the world rotation, get a forward vector. Let's multiply this vector. Now we have to add it from here. And plug it into the end. Now this is how far we want to pick up an object. Now we have to convert this spin to float single precision. Let's put something like 1000. And from here, let's put this nodes a bit closer. So let's call a branch to make sure we are hitting something. From the hit results, type break. Let's open the break. Now from the hit component, let's type simulating physics. So is simulating physics. We are checking if this is true. Now we get another branch. So we can only grab an object if the object is simulating physics. Now let's create a component which is called physics handle. So physics handle. And click and drag this handle. Drag a pin and type grab component. So grab component at location with rotation. Let's connect this from the true. So component is going to be the hit component. So this is without casting and without event tick. Now when you close this, the nodes are going to be much tidier. So for the location, let's drag a pin and get world location and plug it in like this. And now let's tell the engine that we have grabbed an object. So we're going to create a variable and let's name it is grabbing. So it's going to be boolean. Let's set this to true. Now the engine knows that we are grabbing. Set this to true, compile and save. Now how can we avoid using the event tick node? Because we don't want this to tick all the time throughout the game. We want to use this only when we are grabbing the object. Come over here, let's right click and type custom event. Let's name it something like carry object. And from here type timer. So set timer by event. And now let's call this timer. So I just misspell this one. So carry object. I'm going to right click and type carry object. Now we want this to loop, and we want to use this in 0.02 seconds. So this is going to run very fast, but when we release the button, we're going to clear this timer. So instead of creating a variable from here, so don't create a variable, instead we are going to drag a pin and type clear and invalidate timer. So disconnect this. Let's simply right click and create another custom event and call it drop object and clear timer. So this is how you are saving the memory of the game. Instead of cluttering the game with variables, we can use custom event instead. So when we are going to drop the object, we want to set this to false, so we are not grabbing the object. And also, before I forget, get the physics handle. And we need this to release the object. And connect like this. And now we have to call this custom event on the released here. So right click and drop object and clear timer. But to prevent errors and bugs, get this variable and let's check if we are grabbing. So if we have object grabbed, we can cancel the timer. So compile and save. Now let's continue with the timer over here. So we need to get this physics handle and we're going to drag a pin and type set target location. So remember, this is the timer when you are ticking 0.02 seconds. This is how you are avoiding the event tick. So it's going to fire very fast, but when you release the button, it's going to stop firing. So we have new location. Where do you want to release the object? So what we can do is get all of this. Let's Control C to copy and Control V and connect with a new location. So this is going to be the distance when you're picking up the object and how far it's going to be close from you. If you put here something like 500, when you pick up the object, this is going to be 500 units away from the player. Now let's see if it's working. Important thing, select these cubes, for example, that you want to lift and type simulate physics. Check this box. Now when I play the game, when I press G, nothing happens because we have to do one more thing. Let's go back to the code. When the first time we are picking the object, we need to lift it up a bit from the ground. So easy way to do it. I'm just gonna put this a bit down. We're going to get that component that we are lifting and type add impulse. So let's put it, for example, 500 units up in the air and check velocity change and put this here. Now when you are picking the object, it's going to be 500 units up in the air and we're going to be carrying it in our hands. Let's test it one more time. Okay, it's working. Now this is 1000 units when first you are picking. So from here it's too far if I come here. And this is 500 units away from us. Now let's say you want to get the object from very far. So go over here, let's put something like 10,000. For example, from very far, from here. And when you pick it up, we're going to put it something like, let's say 300 units away from us. Let's see how it goes. So I'm pressing G, and this is 300 units. And I can just release it and toss it around. So I can come here and drop it from the level and pick it up from here. You see, it's a very cool feature. If I press G just once, you see how fast it comes. How we can do this a little bit tidier. Now select this line trace and right click, collapse to function. Now select this function on the right side and go to pure. Now we can only use the output. We can only use these pins here. Now let's make it a bit more tidy like this. So let's see how we can reuse this function. Get this float from here and plug it over here. Select it, and in the B, let's type something like trace distance. Let's make it the default, maybe 1000. And the output, first one is going to be trace start, and the second trace end. So when you compile and save, when you go back, now let's rename this function. So I can name it trace calculation. As you can see, I have previously made one, so this is the other one. Now initially, first I want to maybe like, let's say 5000 units to pick up an item. So I'm going to delete this trace, and I'm going to get the function. And from here, we need a trace end only. And we want maybe something like 300. Let's see if it's working. So from 5000 units away, and 300 units away when I'm picking it up. You can make a very sweet game with this. Maybe something like stacking blocks. And pick up the boat. Okay everyone, this is how you are creating, picking and carrying object around. I hope you like this video. Have fun doing some interesting mechanics with this. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.